Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Aboagye, and in today's video, I have with me Prince Boydu Boateng. So I've started creating content on Italy, and I realized that there's actually the country Italy is actually a gold mine, and most people don't talk about it. So I started to connect with Prince, who is currently an international student in Italy, for him to share with us what's the fuss about Italy and like what are some of the opportunities? But in today's session, that would be a questions and answers. I asked on social media what people like to know about Italy. So I have a few questions. So to start with, Prince is going to introduce himself, and we are just going to have a Q&A for all of us to have a feel of what Italy is about and how studying in Italy is. So Prince, could you introduce yourself? And thanks for agreeing to do this with me.
All right, thank you so much, Barbara. My name is Prince Boydu Boateng. I live in Italy, Parma, with my family, and I'm a student of University of Cassino and Southern Lazio. And also, I'm the vice president for National Union of Ghanaian Students Italy, which in short is NUPS Italy. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm pleased to be on this page with you this night.
Oh, okay. And like before I start with the questions, you mentioned that you are the president, or you are the president, no?
The
Vice
vice
president.
president.
So is it for the whole of Italy or just which city are you in again? Can you mention the name of the city?
The whole of Italy. I school in Cassino, a city called Cassino.
Okay, but how do Ghanaians know that this association exists? So if they want to join, how do they know? Because I have friends in Italy, and today is actually my first time of hearing that there's actually an association for Ghanaians in Italy.
They can reach out to me. And I mean, we can register them if they are students and they have the road to join us. They are more than welcome.
Okay, so like my very first question is like, when the talks about studying in Italy comes up, one of the major things people say is there are no jobs in Italy. How true is that? So like studying in Italy is like just wasting your time because once you're done, like there are literally no jobs. How true is this?
All right, thank you for discussing. This is a huge question, and there's a problem the Italian as a nation has been facing since 2008 after the economic crisis. Unemployment rate in Italy is high for sure, but having your education in Italy is not a waste of time, but rather the opposite. Because when we dive into tertiary education, you can have the best in Italy as well, in entire Europe and in the world as well. Because even the genesis of our modern day university education began from Bologna. So in Italy, they do really understand tertiary education, and schooling here is a plus for you as well in terms of the traditional method and the contemporary method that we use to study in current times. To talk about the unemployment issue in Italy, yes, for sure, there are unemployment rates down here, especially to those that are looking for the lower level jobs, right?
Okay.
When you, let's say, jobs that do not require any technical know-how, jobs that do not require any larger certifications, it has been hard for them down here. But when you go to school, when you attain the degrees, I think the story is quite different from those that are searching for those menial jobs. And the issue is when people come in to study, such thoughts prevent them from searching or diving deep into the society, because first of all, they are being told there is no job. So they don't even, try to dig into the exact places, try to, integrate into the society to find opportunities. When you school here, your chances is different, right? But as in Europe, the only issue is you need to have at least a good knowledge of the language for you to dive in there. They are not requiring you to be proficient like an Italian, but at least there should be a line of communication in your interactions when it comes to the language. So I think this is one of the issues that many students do face here in Italy. But aside that, trust me, there is unemployment for sure, but people are also getting some good jobs and they are really benefiting from the education down here. For international students, and for even Black people who have lived there all their life.
Okay, so what's your last statement? I have two questions, but before I ask the question, what do you study? What are you studying?
Economics and business in English.
Okay, you talk like a politician. I wanted to ask you if you're a politician. Like you talk like a politician.
Uh, I am.
Okay, so it makes sense. Okay, a politician. Okay, because when you started, I was like, okay, this guy talks like, but okay, it's good to know. So, the last statement she made was there were jobs for like Black people. Now, the second question is the issue of racism in Italy. Is this really a big deal, or is just news?
Okay. When it comes to racism, trust me, this is my personal opinion because I've
Okay.
been to other places in Europe, and I think Southern Europeans, which Italy is part, is very friendly,
Okay.
relatively comparing to the other Europeans. What I've noticed down here is if they don't like you, I don't like you, right? It's
Okay.
straightforward, unlike
Okay.
other places whereby they don't really exhibit what is truly inside them. Because when you live in Italy, you tend to realize that the issue here for me is not more of racism, but it's out of ignorance. Because if
Okay.
they don't know, they act upon their ignorance. But once they come to understand who you are, what is happening, the interaction is different. But if you
Okay.
compare here to other places where there have been more enlightenment and they still face racism, and that means there is a problem. Because down here in Italy, the issue, majority of the issue for me is about ignorance because they don't know why you are, they act on what they have heard. It's more of like acting based on a prejudiced perception. But when they get to know who you are, the story things. And many people have had quite good friendly relationship relatively comparing to the other part of Europe.
Okay, thank you. So now let's look at education in general in Europe, like, in Italy. So we know that Italy is an Italian country. Are there opportunities to study or further education that like undergraduate study level in English? And how rampant
Yes.
or how easy it is to find these programs? Is it all universities or there are specific universities where you could study in English?
Okay, as far as my knowledge in education so far, when it comes to the masters or the graduate study, almost every university have an English course. And
Okay.
every public university, if let's say about 90% of them have their courses in English, whether in the social sciences, engineering,
Yeah.
or the medical side, they have courses in English. But when it comes to the bachelor's,
Okay.
that is where we don't have it at large. But for the
Okay.
master's, I think almost every university have a one or two course in English for
Okay.
sure.
And do you know some universities that have like English touch programs for the bachelor's level?
Yeah, my school, for instance, University of Casino,
Okay.
University of Tor Vergata, La Sapienza, Bologna, Pavia, Pizza, University of Calabria.
Okay.
There are a lot. There are a good
Okay.
number of
Just
universities.
just give me some of the list and I'll just paste it in the description box. So once you're ready, just send me the list of those ones and I'll
All
just
right,
paste it
sure,
into the
sure, definitely, I'll
description
do
box.
that.
Okay. So my next question is, are there many fully funded programs offered in English for the graduate studies and even for the bachelor studies?
All right. The truth of the matter is, education itself here is fully founded with or without scholarship.
Okay,
Why am
explain
I
this.
saying this?
Okay.
The reason is when you enter into Italy as a student, we have this program or this agency. It's called DSU,
Okay, so yeah.
Diritto allo Studio Universitario. So this agency makes sure that every student, and in English it's called right to study. So
Okay.
you have the right to study fully without your finances being a blockade.
Okay.
So when you get registered or when you get, enrolled in an Italian university, you have the opportunity to apply for these services. And in the first term, it does not require any educational proficiency. The first thing they require is to see you enrolled. And in the subsequent years to come, that is where you use your academic performance to retain the scholarship. And if you don't get what they need, then I mean, you lose the scholarship. So practically, when you get enrolled in Italy, you are almost 80% getting free education here. And with this, it doesn't matter whether you are an international student or you are a home student. Every student has the right and is entitled to get this opportunity if you apply on time and if you are enrolled in an Italian university.
Okay, so there's a time frame, and it's everybody who applies gets it, or there's a number?
Everyone.
Wow. Okay. I told you guys there was something
to
in
apply
Italy.
on time.
Okay.
Everyone.
Is there a time frame for that?
Yeah, every region have their time frame, because that's how it works. Every region regulates their DSU separately. So it's an independent body within every region. In my region, it's called Lazio Disio. So our region have their deadlines. When you go to the northern side, they have how they call it. I've forgotten Bologna, how Bologna called theirs, but it's also a DSU as well. When you go to Sicily, Sicily also have. So Emilia Romagna, Ergo, good. When you go to Bologna, it's called Ergo. When you go to Sicily, they have the DSU. So every region has a special name for it. So they work within their jurisdictions separately, but it's the same thing.
Okay. So if I understand, what you are saying is that most programs, not even most programs, like education in Italy is almost fully funded, or 80%.
For sure.
And when you say fully funded or 80% fully funded, what does it entail? Because like the videos I've been making, I realize they even give food. Like
that's how it works. When you get the DSO scholarship, first of all, there is no tuition. The only thing you have to pay is regional tax. And even with that one, when you go to Sicily, where they pay 150 euros, you'll be paid back within a couple of time. When you come to my region, we only pay 16 euro. So approximately per year, my school fees is 16 euro, less than $20 for the whole year. And the scholarship entails food, accommodation, and tuition as well. So with the food, you get a subsidized catering services whereby you pay €2.10 for everything you're going to eat at the cafeteria. Everything that you eat in there, you pay €2.10. And also they provide accommodation whereby you don't pay for it. But that's how it works. Every student annually is supposed to be given 7,000 euros. That is the new amount in the current core now. So approximately you get 7,000 for normal students. If you are a female and you are in the STEM, you get about 10 to 20% bonus. So meaning females are going to get like roughly a 9,000 euros. So within that 9,000 euros, all the regions have how they go about it. In my region, they take only the accommodation of it, and all the remaining funds are your steppings. Let me put it that way. So these are your takeaway money. They only take the accommodation, which is allocated at 150 euros every month, and you use the school services for 10 months. So that will be 10 multiplied by the 150 euros. Then the remaining will be your bonus as your stepping. And they pay in installment within the year. That is for the scholarship. So you get your pocket money, food, accommodation, and free tuition.
And here I thought France was amazing. But like what you are telling me, looks like France is nowhere near Italy.
Apparently, Italy is one of the best places to school in Europe, if not the best, because so far I've not seen any other European country that gives the opportunity for everyone. And the difference is in Italy is for everyone, regardless of where you're coming from. You just have to get your documentation right, and that is it. Everyone. They don't know Italian, they don't know international students.
In France, it's for everyone, but it's not like on the scale that Italy is doing it, because this is really amazing. So, is it
Yeah.
possible, like when, like in other countries, like when you get your visa, there's a number of hours you can work? Is this the case in
Yeah.
Italy, or how many hours?
It's the same. 20 hours per week for students.
Okay. And are there student jobs? And if there are, like, what are the student jobs available?
Okay,
What are kind of,
so the main issue is in order for you to attain student job, this one depends on the region you are. And
okay.
frankly speaking, it's very, very difficult to attain said jobs because
Okay.
one, if you go to a university that is not much integrated within the international society,
Okay.
language becomes a barrier because you cannot work within that zone because one, you are new, you don't speak Italian, you don't really understand. So working there will be a problem for you. So you cannot attain those student jobs that will be given within that area. Let's say you find yourself around Rome, there might be chances, but the possibility of you attaining the job will also be high because there is higher rate of competition. So with student jobs, it's not as easy as you might get from other countries.
But it's possible, and your visa allows you to do it.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's 100% possible. If you find a job, you are good to go. No one prevents you from working.
Okay, awesome.
From working.
So the next question I have is, my issue is I'm not looking for scholarships because of my grades. I just want to know if there are any schools in Italy that accept a third class for masters.
Okay. Honestly, I do tell my people or people who come to me when they want to apply school that regardless of the results, just apply. I mean, there shouldn't be a point where you feel like maybe my grades are lower, so I won't apply. Just apply, write your motivation letter or your SOP, fine enough, defining the reason why you want to study and why you want to be there. I've seen people with lower grades being given offers right beneath my eye. So for me, I don't know the actual standards, but I might be a bit biased if I say, oh, third class doesn't stand a chance because I've seen people with lower grades being offered admission. And also it depends on the program because some schools have limits for sure. They might say maybe if your GPA, I think that's what they use in tech, if I'm right. They might say if it's 50 and above, you'll be enrolled. If it's 60 and below, you'll not be enrolled. And we have courses that have open admission. I don't know if that's how they do it in other country. Courses that have open admission, you have higher chance of getting admitted, even if you have lower grades. And my advice with someone with a lower grade is when you want to enter, you can apply with any course that do not require much that do not require much performances from your previous study. When you enter, then you study the system. In the following year, you can try and seek a transfer or reapply again. And since you're already in, your chances of getting admitted is higher than someone coming from Ghana or coming from outside. That's how it works. Another trick to save your ass.
Okay, interesting. Like with this, I want to ask another question. Is it possible, because like you said that they should apply for another program. So like maybe I did civil engineering. Is it possible to move to business? Like should your previous background really match the new program you want to stay, or it doesn't matter?
In some courses, it doesn't matter. In some courses, it does.
Okay, so do you know any course that it doesn't matter? Do you know some courses that it doesn't matter?
I think most of the business related programs don't really seek into that aspect. The most important thing is to have a bachelor's degree that has fulfilled the number of years that is required from you, from your senior high school to your university years. If you have fully completed your bachelor's, some courses don't really care about your previous study. You might still stand a chance of getting admitted, especially within the management and the business related programs.
Okay, that's perfect.
And sciences as well.
Okay. So my next question is, can an HND holder apply? Does the Italian education accept HND to go study a master's?
No.
Quite unfortunate.
Okay.
You need a bachelor.
Why? Do you know why?
Because that what I learned was the HND do not fulfill the bachelor's degree minimum requirements, and
In that case, you need a top up.
before you can study into you can study for, how do we call it, for the masters, because that's how they mostly also do it. In Ghana, if you have HND, you cannot apply the masters directly.
Yeah.
Good, exactly. So if your home country
Does not allow you with your certification to pursue the masters, you don't stand a chance of studying masters in Italy. So because we have something they call declaration of value.
Okay. I think I saw
value.
that.
So
yes, the
declaration of value means that your certificate is being declared on the same value within the Italian education system. So what does it mean? If I hold a WASI, my WASI is being declared that it is the same as someone leaving the senior high school in Italy. They call it superiori. So if someone is leaving superiori, the certification they are taking outside is equivalent to the WASI certificate I have. The same thing works for HND and bachelor's as well. HND is not equivalent to bachelor's. So therefore, you cannot use the HND to pursue masters.
Okay. So before, when you said no, I didn't agree with you with regards to the requirement, but your further explanation makes sense. And the reason why I didn't agree with you first is in Italy, the bachelor's is 3 years. You need 180 credits to be able to go into a master's. And I'm sure with the HND, I'm sure they will get the 180 credits because the 4 years is more than 180 credits. But the further explanation you made where the declaration of the value, like if your home country does not accept it. But so in countries where their home countries accept that their HND can further go into a master's, when they apply in Italy, it will be considered equivalent to a bachelor's, no?
Apparently that's how it works. Because when it comes to the declaration of value, the certification you are bringing on board with the course you would like to apply to has a direct relation with your home country. So even for instance, when you go to China and some other countries, you need to write certain entrance exams before you can have your university education. And those requirements are required if you want to study here in Italy. So they check all those things.
Okay,
so interesting. That's also another reason.
So the follow-up question is on the legalization of academic documents. If, like I studied in Ghana and all my documents are in English, if I want to go to Italy to study, what documents do I have to legalize? What do I have to do to be able to go study in Italy?
All right. So first of all, day in, day out, the regulation changes. But with the last one I know, you need your WASI certificate being translated in Italian and legalized at the Italian embassy. And they also check your transcript as well.
Yes.
So these are the main certificate that will be looked into if you want to study here in Italy with the bachelor's. With the master's, your bachelor's, then your high school, then your transcript as well. So these are the main academic documents that will be required. Other certification will be your identity document and maybe school letter from, the university that has given you an offer.
Okay. And when does the legalization come in? Do you need to legalize before you apply to the school, or once you get admission, you have to legalize?
No, once you get admission.
Okay.
Once you get
admission, yeah, because you need those documents before you enter into Italy.
Okay. And it's compulsory to legalize your documents before?
Not necessarily, because when it comes to legalization, that's how it works. There are many instances that many students were not able to get their documents legalized before leaving, because there is two things. When you're applying for the visa, you need to provide the translated documentation of all the necessary document that is required for the visa. And getting the visa process is different from getting your documents legalized. The reason why people get their documents legalized is to apply within the Italian scholarship bodies or other entities that needs official document from the Italian embassy.
Okay.
I don't know if you understand what I'm
trying to say. So back in the days where Ghanaians were allowed to, receive the scholarship, you get your documents legalized at the embassy, then you bring it here, you take it to the commune or prefectura, they check everything, then they give you the go ahead, then your documents are being processed, then you have your scholarship. So that's how the legalization works.
So the legalization is not really a school requirement or a requirement to travel. It's like probably maybe I'm applying for a scholarship, I'm applying for something, and they require the document to be legalized.
Exactly. Okay, perfect.
Let's talk about proof of funds. Like most countries require certain amounts of money to show as proof of funds for the visa. In Italy, how much is it and what's the process? What do you need to do?
In Italy, the last one, I think, was it 5,968 or something that is no more than 6,000 euros approximately. But the issue is
there's also an issue.
There is a pending issue with Ghanaian students when it comes to Italy. Because about 4 years ago, or let's say 5 years ago, roughly, there were some incidents that happened with Ghanaian students here in Italy. Some fraudulent actions went on within the Ghanaian society. So now Ghanaian students cannot legalize their documents here in Italy at the Ghanaian embassy in Rome. They cannot legalize their documents if you hold the international student status now. And also in Accra, when you submit your documents, it takes longer time than the regular.
Okay.
All right. So when they apply for the legalization in Accra, the Italian embassy, it takes longer than the regular time because of what happened in the previous years. So Ghanaian students code has been subjected to being fraudulent when it comes to this document legalization and documents relating education purposes here in Italy because of what happened in previous years. So students coming directly from Ghana to study, applying for the scholarship is a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult for them. But you can enter with your own funds. That is, if you are being proven adequate to have them. And the sad thing is, this issue has affected students in general, because even if you are applying for the student visa, you have what they require of you, but you might still be refused visa with the reason of socio-economic problems, which means you will not be adequate to take care of yourselves here in Italy. So there is a bit of challenge with the Italians and the Ghanaian authorities as of now when it comes to student matters, which we are trying our best to get the issue resolved.
So what if maybe you applied to a school and you got like internal scholarship from the school? Would this increase your chances of getting a visa? Okay.
Perfect. There are some scholarships that the embassy will call you for you to come for your visa.
Okay.
So once you are being awarded these scholarships, there is no issue with your visa, and you have no problem with the embassy, because they are the very people that will call you or issue the visa for you once you attain such scholarship. So internal scholarship from schools, scholarship from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs have some special scholarships they give to the master students. Then we have Invest Your Talent. These scholarships, once you win any of them,
you stand a chance of getting
your visa without any interruptions. But if you want to study on your own, that is where the issue lies at the moment. But even with that one, if you're able to prove
well
enough, you can still get your visa. And now the clue is, if you want to have a sponsorship, it should come from your direct parents, not from an uncle, a brother. No, it should be from your parents directly.
But that means you also stand a
high chance of getting your visa.
Okay. And in Italy, do you use a blocked account, or your parents just need to show that they have the money and that's okay?
You need to show you have the money. That's okay. There is no block account here in Italy.
Okay. So the next question is, can a student on scholarship take part-time jobs? And can they extend their visa after the scholarship without coming back home?
Yes, a student on scholarship can work as well, but every scholarship has their own detailed regulations, as I stated earlier, because there are some scholarship that allows you to do some specific types of job. You understand? Yes. So you need to check with your scholarship agency to know your limit. But in general, students are allowed to, have a part-time job irrespective of the scholarship you have. But you need to declare. You need to declare all these details. Yes, exactly.
Okay. I think we've gone on far too long than I wanted us to. So I'm going to ask the last question, then we are going to close the session. So the last question is, can we apply to master's programs which are taught in Italian language in Italy?
Oh, yes.
Yes, you can.
If you want to study in Italy, you can do so. A typical example is with our fellow brothers and sisters from Cameroon. What they do is they study the Italian language in their home country for 3 months. Then they will take, I think, the B2 Italian exams. And once they get the pass mark, they apply for the course in Italian. So many of these students study in Italiano here in Italy.
Especially people from Cameroon.
Is there any reason why they decide to do that? If they could speak English,
why not? In Cameroon, there are some parts that do not really speak English. So I think that is the reason. And with the Cameroonians as well, they have a good history within the Italian education sector. When you go to the medical field, they have good history within the medical field. So majority of their students study medicine here in Italian, not in English. So I think that's where it comes from. And also within the other scientific courses.
Okay, that means if you do want to study Italian, if you do want to study in Italy in Italian, you need to write the exams. You need to show proof that you can speak Italian.
Yeah, you need to show yes, English Italian proficiency.
So it's not like you don't speak Italian, then you come and you expect that maybe 1 year you're going to learn the language and do the course. It doesn't work that way.
No, because if you choose the Italian language and as a foreigner, you need to provide the Italian proficiency, the language certificate, a minimum of B2.
Okay. So this has been a very informative session. Once again, I want to say thank you for agreeing to do this. So before we bring this session to a close, are there any last words you want to give to the viewers about studying in Italy?
Yeah, I think you asked a
question about if they can prolong their stay in Italy. Yes, it's for sure you can do that, because after school they give you cerco lavoro, which is for 1 year. In English means searching for job. So once you graduate, you have the opportunity to look for other opportunities here in Italy. So yes, there is a possibility. If you want to go back home, then I think it's a choice. No one forces you to go back home.
Okay, thanks. Because actually, this was one of the questions I think I missed it. Like, do they have like after school? Are there any opportunities available? So,
yes,
great.
There are.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, this will be a great time to subscribe and also check the scholarships I've put on about Italy. So to hear from me again.
Bye.